Hey guys, I wanted to give a review for the seventh horror movie that I watched this month, and it was Apollo 18. Tagline says that there's a reason we've never been back to the moon. It stars Warren Christie, Lloyd Owen, and Ryan Robbins. This movie supposedly is supposed to be like a film found from the 70s when Apollo 18 went to the moon and basically never came back. And this mission was top secret by NASA and the government and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually shot using lenses from the 70s, which makes it look pretty authentic. A couple of things, though, that I did notice that obviously made it prove that it is not a true video is the fact that, number one, there were times when the astronauts were walking on the moon and could not would complain about the temperature dropping. Now, if that were true, if they were truly on the moon, their suits would keep them from feeling any sort of temperature change. Number two, when they did walk on the moon, it was as if the anti-gravity didn't exist at all at this point. They were just walking like normal. Sometimes they were kind of like shuffling their feet as if, there was a lot of pressure going on. And then there was a time when they were driving around in a moon lander, and I actually saw in the background the skyline to the city that they were shooting it in, so it's obvious, that they were shooting it on Earth and not on the moon. So this movie was pretty good in the fact that, number one, it did look pretty authentic at times, especially since they shot it with lenses from the 70s, and that it really captured the primal fear of the unknown. Here you have, two astronauts who are on the moon. One is still in the ship, kind of orbiting around as they go along. And the astronauts find a Russian, space shuttle that was on the moon and find an astronaut who's deceased, who was actually murdered, and they are trying to figure out what happened to him. And then one of the American astronauts actually gets attacked by something that he doesn't know what it was. It was in his suit. It was, at one point you do see it crawl across his mask, which is actually, that was a pretty good shot. And then he gets bitten by it, and the other astronaut pulls it out of him, and it just kind of looks like a lunar rock. And it's basically these little horrible, awful creatures that disguise themselves as rocks, but, attack humans, and once you're bitten, you go crazy, you're paranoid, you basically get schizophrenia if you're bitten by this thing. So, there's the fear of that, of the unknown, not knowing what these things are, where are they, why are they attacking, what's going on here. And then communications are shut off with Houston and the space shuttle, of course, because what else is going to make the movie more suspenseful than the fear of that, of being afraid that you're not going to make it home. And then once communication is back up, the other astronaut who wasn't bitten is actually told that he is not going to be taken home because of the fact that, they think that he's contaminated as well. They don't want to risk it, stuff like that. So at that point, you're kind of like, you feel for this guy because he has, he's married, he has a little boy, and all he wants to do is go home, and he wasn't contaminated at the time, and so you're kind of like rooting for him to just break the rules and get there. And then you do see him attacked as he's trying to make an escape from the moon, which is pretty scary. And then not only that, but the third astronaut who is on the trip, who's still orbiting the moon, it's his job to get everybody home. At the end of the movie, his ship and the shuttle that goes down and lands onto the moon actually collide, and so you find yourself, with the footage being distorted and deleted, and it's basically over at that point, and it's supposed to be like this big government cover-up and things like that. So would I recommend this movie? Yes. I liked it. It was pretty slow going. So if you're kind of one of those people who you like to watch scary movies, but you don't want stuff jumping out at you constantly, or you don't want to feel such a sense of urgency the towards the climax of the film, go ahead and watch this one. And if you like space stuff, go ahead and watch it and see if you can find all the stuff wrong with the way it was filmed. I definitely did like this one. I wouldn't watch it again, but I would recommend it to others. So feel free to watch it yourself. It was pretty good. The creatures are pretty creepy looking to me. They look like camel spiders with like, you know, body armor of a rock, which is pretty frightening. So hopefully this film, you know, continues to do well. We'll see how it all goes. Thanks.